Nelson Mandela once said that education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, and that the child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation. We agree with Nelson Mandela, and in that agreement, we propose the Rural Education Ownership Initiative to drive policy interventions to make the promise of education real for rural school pupils. We decided to take a trip to the northern regions after thoroughly reviewing the NASIA's 2021 report, the Education Sector Analysis Report, UNESCO, and others to obtain our account of the state of rural education in Ghana. We set off to see the challenges facing these schools. Our first stop was at Zunaili community in the Nanton district. The school's infrastructure was visibly run down due to a lack of maintenance. The toilet facilities were in shambles and the children could be seen fighting for food given to them by their matron. The first interactive engagement with parents, elders, and assembly members was held at Zunaili. The community expressed its desire to educate their children and the challenges they faced trying to do so. This disclosed how the lack of accommodation for teachers has affected the teacher retention.
Omi kuna nyimma aika do baika oyen dor mi nalo o purma to no nzamza wonto dinti borne resolution darga kana ma be go chantu no tanga kana o baika lare na ba so chang mbo dagbal ma pumpon bitte bama blan tebr kare to no ko di pra ben tebr ma de tebr mi to punin chakar blan tebr barma teni anye bo dozo to be rabe ku baledi to non sole saha bo futina ya muaman bon to ku chenan pun bon ka zang ni na to che fol ma na gar ni polo de la tour ka pula na gar na samo ya ma mi nya ni sa ku zampani o dar zin chant ku no nyanti ka zang abu chan no to sa ho mu no ye malata ba ka bo mi o ku tu twase ka bo mi ka bon na yel ni puma lam ba mala sho gwa malia dama dinin ye o ban yen dirshal ka gbale ni ma yen ya gbani dirshal
tole ta shukurma biagu shetin na ko yin sham ka biagu she ma viala ben yan ji ni sham sabra ne song sam zan cham bu ku karanda do me ni ya ne tulma be ma bi ku ya uniform num kana anta don tan pa ma be man ma pa la uniform num ma hal ka banya tin yone so gota targa hala to jinjam biam pam chahle kar daler ku nyala tan paaw o ko be ko kana durma shanga kurgbe de zo bi kana class nti jene ka shabian bu ku ka ji shahzaha tangban ko nja masa to tuma tangban ko njin saba zo o kana shukurti am kuna ondi yene shawa o me bu pergale parsa to lan kana shukur de zo la ye mursra ma dinin kat sor nu gomanti mene jangama yelnam to swante kat shukur won to chant NGO num swante kat shukur man to chant to ka la.
The second school we visited was in Dibili Karagat district. As you can see, this structure serves as the school for the whole Dibili community. Only 2 teachers were present in the school at the time of our visit. The head teacher spoke about the stress of teaching 4 classes every week and juggling between classes 1 and 2 and KG 1 and KG 2 without any furniture.
That is my assistant editor. We are only 2 years now, but we are 4 and then the 2 left, given the 2 of us. We managed the 5 classes, K1 to G5. The way we manage it, My assistant is handling P4 and P5 in one class. I'm supposed to be in P3 and P2. But since our pages are left, KG1 and KG2 and P1, no teacher. So when I give exercise to G1 and G3, I engage them to do the exercise. I will now come back to KG1 and KG2 and P1 to combine them and teach them.
These circular structures were constructed to serve as bungalows for teachers during the rainy season. The head teacher recounted the case of a female teacher who left the school due to housing concerns. Constructing a teacher's quarter for the school will help retain teachers and relieve others of the stress of teaching several classes. The school lacked proper classroom structures, desks, and trained teachers, as well as learning materials.
Normally, what the government can do to help us, if government gives us enough teachers, if there's enough teachers, and then the classrooms, there's enough classrooms, I think that one can bring teaching and learning to be a good one. And the furnitures, we don't have furnitures in the class, the children are just seated like that. Even during the rainy season, we have to wash the classroom before the children can sit.
The community was receptive, and the concern they had for the future of their children was evident. These children are hopeful about the future, but will their hopes and dreams materialize? Pupils at the Tinguri Community School sat on the bare floor to do assignments and copy notes. We engaged the chiefs, opinion leaders, and assembly members for the area to understand the community's educational needs and how we can work together to improve conditions for better learning outcomes.
With education, those who have been to school and have attained greater height in education look different from those who were not enrolled in school. So they always encourage their children to be in school. Through education, we are able to choose our leaders. Like the election we do to choose presidents and MPs and so on. You know, without education, you can't just point at someone to be your MP. You have to vote so that you choose a leader to represent you. So it's because of education that those things exist.
Shukuru amfani joya pam. Shukuru amfani nyara.
With education, a lot of positive things come. That's if they compare themselves to others elsewhere who started education before them, they are far, far, far behind. So that is why they encourage the children to be in
bima shukuru nimbura shu malo fine nya bondir gon tu ko di na tasu shukuru e pa ke pa nya ti chama shu biwa kan jina e de ene shukuru ya ke shu onne o bonche bombura anya e bon tu shukuru ma ne ti chama yere bon wono ni to bima ken shukuru to ba yan ma ka ta nya
A help to the education in their community is that they always send their wards to school to enroll them into the school. So, but they try to go for uniform teaching and learning materials after enrolling them into the school. They look for those materials. And each day they make sure they eat before going to school. So that's their contribution.
So that's basically what they need. Just keep them in school. And then each day you encourage them to come out. The classrooms are in urgent need of repairs. In their current state, they pose a risk to the safety of the students. About 40% of one classroom's block's roof has completely fallen off, and portions that remained unpeeled have gaping holes that provide zero shelter against poor weather. Piles of broken furniture can be seen packed at the back of windowless classrooms. The teachers complained of a lack of textbooks and teacher handbooks. The school is not connected to electricity and does not have a source of water close to the school. We learned that the school is running short of teachers for a number of reasons. One reason in particular is the lack of accommodation. 2 teachers posted to the school from different regions complained about the poor state of housing and the language barrier, which often deters teachers who are posted to the school. In the Zwabuliga community, the head teacher explains that the children in the community have turned the classrooms into a public toilet. Clearly, this structure is not fit for that purpose. The school has a shortage of teachers and lacks adequate furniture. The school currently does not have an ICT facility, a library, or even a teacher staff room. The poor state of the school's infrastructure may partly account for the widespread disinterest in education in rural communities.
You can see the environment. When we come and clean it, the children from the community who don't school here come and mess up here. Sometimes even the doors that we close, the windows have spoiled. So they enter and even defecate on the ground. If it were to be yesterday, you would have seen us cleaning the mess in the other class. So this is supposed to be class 1. Hey, live there. So this is our KG2. This is our KG2. And you can look at the facility. This was where I'm saying that when we even close the door, because of the windows, they jump in and then mess here up. And every morning we have to come and be collecting people's fees before we start class. So this is KG2. KG2. We have about 40 people struggling to sit inside this facility here. It's the district that gave us these desks late last year. Otherwise, we didn't even have any at all. So when we came, they were sitting on the floor. They were sitting on the floor. Because it has passed 1, you have to close KG2. So they have closed and gone to the house. So this is KG1. There are about 60. Last time the Director of Education came around to inspect when he gave out the desks. He insisted that we spend the lesson time outside. But the children, you see how the motorbikes are passing? It's nearly hit about 2 of them at the same spot. So we thought it was no, since it has not collapsed on us yet, we should rather come inside. When the conditions are not favorable, then we break the children Otherwise, we would have been having the classes outside, as he suggested. Because of the risk, their big brothers, when they are speeding, they just ride anyhow. And sometimes you hear, when you are in your class, you rush out to come and see what is going on. So we have to come back. And the chairs, they are not enough. It's because we've sent the benches to the other class. So when they come enough like that, we have to put benches. Yeah, madams are not here, they would have testified to you because they've closed them and gone. They will put benches by the wall behind there, and then before the lessons begin. Our small office has become a storeroom, a library, all the bookkeeping things. So when you get there right now, you see there are books there, other classes books. So the whole place is always choked. I have to come and be packing them every week. Otherwise, the whole place will mess, especially when you don't supervise them. They ask them to send their books and they'll go and keep it anywhere. So they mix them up with other reading books, especially the radio books the government gave us last year. Yes, we need the help. We need serious help, especially this particular block. We will not wait when it will kill the children, or a teacher will also die with the children before they will come and build us a new facility. We really need a classroom block for our lower primary and KG.
It would be grateful if the government will also come to our aid as the teachers to also build a bungalow for we, the teachers. We'll be very grateful.
This kindergarten teacher in Daware comes to class with her baby, who distracts her and the class. We could not ascertain if she is a trained teacher or not. Daware was not left out in what may appear as a race for the most deplorable school structure. This smart structure without a roof serves as a kitchen for the school where lunch meals are prepared. We did not see any classroom desks as the pupils sat on the bare floor at the mercy of sand and crawling insects. Their structures are in great need of immediate renovations. How can trained or untrained teachers be willing to take 100 cedis monthly remuneration to teach in a school of such a deplorable state?
Vorkum is a community with over 100 households. There is not any school nearby here. And a lot of the children are in the house. Because of that, the community people decided to start this school with their own initiative. But it came to a time they couldn't continue because the classroom is only one, which holds P1 to P4. And the children were crowded inside the classroom. So because of that, the teacher too complained that he couldn't handle the children again. And he also complained of the money they give him is too small, which is 100 cedis a month. So because of that, all these problems, the last time children were here was some 3 weeks ago or so. That I came here, the children were not many. They came, and because the teacher didn't come, they all went back home. As at now, all the children are in the house. If you enter the houses, you can count not less than 100 to 200 children not going to school, you see, because of the situation. So we think that if this school is developed, it will help the community and a lot of children within this area. The houses all around, the school is in the middle. So left, right, back and front are all houses with children who are supposed to be in this school. The GS we're on the process of help. We wrote to the GS so that they can absorb the school, and they haven't absorbed the school yet. So the teacher was paid by the community themselves to the contribution. Did this one for the KG 1 and 2, and this was holding from P1 to P4. You can see that these are all children who were in this school, and because of the nature, they've all stopped in the house. And this children type, there are many in the house. When you enter the houses, you see small children between the ages of 3 to 10. Already we have letters with the GS, so we will continue to push for 170 children, all of them here. The KG were about, they were like 50 or so. KG 1 and 2 put together, they were also up to getting to 100. But the P1 up to P4, they were all put here. You see, the distance from here to the other school is something a child within 7-8 years cannot go, unless over 10 years. And apart from here, the community go as far down there. All of them come to the school. If we move down there, far down there. Yeah, they all come here. What we need is a structure and teaching and learning materials plus furniture. If we get that one, even if it is a 3-classroom structure set, we can manage for now. And I promise, if that one is done, in 1 year time, you come here and you'll be surprised to see the number of children who are here and are doing well.
Does this structure serve a whole community with over 100 households? The Gango community put up this structure through communal labor and with the help of some local political aspirants. How can this single structure be enough? As the number of school-going children keeps increasing yearly, what will be their fate with just 3 teachers? How many parents can afford to pay teachers? The chief appealed to the government for help.
And give us the zinc
And then they erected this shed for us, and then we started the KG 1 and 2. The following year, we mobilized the community members, and then they supported, and we were able to put up another structure. So we divided that structure into two, detaining that we will get an office, and then the other part also being a class. Initially, our plan was that we will start for the lower primary. If we are able to get up to P3, from there onwards, maybe we will expect the children to join other schools because we are not capable of putting up more structures. But when we started, after the following year, we promoted those in KG2 to 1. And then the teachers, they were 3 who were supporting us. At a point in time, we have the zeal that once it is progressing, we can seek for support. So we tried through an NGO, that's the Complementary Basic School Program. So they also came to our aid, they supported us with benches. From there, we tried to increase the number of classes because every year there's promotion and then new pupils come in. So finally, we have to use the tree outside there as one of the classrooms. And then it was also being managed by the same 3 teachers. KG 1 and 2 were combined. And I think you can even observe that we have made some Templar blackboard both sides, meaning the other group will face this column, then the other groups will also face the other column. And how we pay the teachers, they are not employed, it's not government. Therefore, it's the children we tax, and then they will take the money from their parents to do that payment. Today, for instance, there would have been pupils around, but because of those challenges and other things, this particular week, they couldn't make it because we failed to honor it. And then the teachers, some of them left. And then it was left with myself and then one of my colleagues. And as a result of that, we said we cannot, once we are not being motivated, then we should find a way of doing that. So they are yet meeting opinion leaders to address that problem as it states now. Our Assembly member, Honorable Heidi, has also taken it upon himself. He has written a letter to the district directory for support, but we are still looking up to them. According to the chief, he's appealing for support. As we can see, the school is lacking of a lot of things. One, we don't have structure, we don't have enough furniture, we are using benches. And more to the point too, we are being surrounded by rivers. During the rainy season, the younger ones cannot cross to the nearby communities to attend school. So we are appealing to the government or NGOs or any philanthropists who can support us in that trend. If any kind of support, we are ready to embrace it. Thank you.
The Kulungungu Senior High and Primary had an average classroom structure. As the head teacher explains, their urgent needs were desks, housing for teachers, community support, and portable water and toilet facilities. Throughout the study, we were thankful to rural teachers for bracing the difficult conditions to make a difference in the lives of the pupils in rural schools.
The table and chair for myself and then the staff, that one day is just very inadequate. We have to talk to the PTA executives and other stakeholders, and they have some few plastic chairs for us. So this is the form JHS 3 classroom. And the JHS 3 classroom, you could see the doors are not well fixed. The louvers, this one is like a afternoon t-shirt. You don't need to punch a light to see and eat. So it's just very plain. This is we have to use this one to block it so that thieves don't get the opportunity to enter and steal the furniture. The few furniture the children purchase for themselves. Even some of them find it difficult to get some for themselves. They are already paying with their police. So this is the form. This is the form 3. So we move to the form your JHS 2 classroom. So this is a JHS2 classroom. I think the problem for the JHS3 classroom is repeated here. The windows, no louvers. We only use some broken table and chair, the broken dual desk to fix it, so that no thieves can get opportunity to enter and steal the few dual desks. Then the dual desks too, some of them, get up, it's break time, but you don't have to lie down. The weather is very warm, okay? So these are the only few dual desks we have, and it's not even up to the number. Some of them are broken. You could see one for yourself. Look at the broken one down. So this is what so you have to manage with this one. Sometimes they disturb a lot. This one can easily fall during teaching and learning. So, but this is what we are managing. But as far as we people are here, I know by his grace, our challenges will be attended to. Please, quiet. This is JHS1, Form 1 class. So they don't have adequate, please quiet, keep quiet. They don't have adequate dual desks. These are the few ones. Just like those in the Form 1, the Form 2, JHS2 classroom. These ones are broken ones, they are just managing. A few of them manage to get their own table and chair, but it's not enough for them. So you could see that what they had, the learners had, and that of the government property, dual desks are mixed together. And then the window situations, as it was in Form 1, JHS2, JHS3, JHS2, the same is repeated in JHS1. You could see that the louvers are not there, the windows are not there, they are all broken, but the woods are very hard. When you want to nail them, they crack. The only thing we can do is to use some broken dual desks, to fix it to nail it so that thieves don't get opportunity to enter and steal the few furniture that is in the classroom. And you could see that some of the learners sitting on the floor because the table and chair is not adequate, as well as that of the dual desk. This is the JHS Primary B. So it's that primary school that fit this school. So when they are not well treated there, like they are not well taught, when they come here, they can't do anything better. So ways that they are equally given a very strong attention they deserve, so that things will be better for us. So I think we can move there for now, so that you see things for yourself. Thank you. Okay. Kulugungo Primary School P4 classroom. There's no single furniture. The only furniture we could identify is the one that has been provided by the Business Development Association. That's the BDA. And this was provided in 2000 and what? What date is this? 2020, that's okay. Thank you very much. So, but they are not in very good shape. Look at it, they are broken. I think you could see that I can remove them single. So when the teacher is teaching and then learning is going on, so the children can push this one down and it will affect teaching and learning, something of that sort. So I think it's not only one, but I think almost all of them. So this one was provided by the Business Development Association as of 2020, but they are all broken. So I think that When we get the necessary assistance, it will help, because when the children are not well taught at the primary school, when they come to junior high, they can do better. I think these are some of the things that contributed to our usual poor performance at the BEC, when it comes to the BEC. For the windows, they are also not well fixed. No locks, nothing. It's just the window. It's only the window that is there. So what you can use to lock here is not there. I don't know. I manage, even though the furniture is not in the classroom, but still, the few that are there need to be well protected. So the learners have no option than to use the, what do you call it, the sofa chair that has been provided by the Ghana Education Service to the school in some years back. So now what the staff are supposed to be using is what the learners are now using to manage. Look, you could see the learners being seated on the sofa chairs. So this is what is happening at Kulungungu Primary School B.
The children were happy, but when we ask ourselves, what does the future hold for them? These structures were death traps for the children and the teachers. The 1992 Constitution, in Article 36, Clause 2D, mandates that governments work to close the development gap between urban and rural areas. The state of infrastructure in rural schools is poor. The lack of school buildings and attendant facilities, the lack of trained and motivated teachers, the long-distance walk back and forth between home and school, and the lack of books or library facilities and computer labs, and above all, the lack of active community participation in the education delivery process are all contextual challenges that must be dealt with collectively today and not tomorrow, in order to improve learning outcomes for rural pupils consistent with the Sustainable Development Goal 4, as well as the Education Strategic Plan. Partner with CDS Africa today to promote infrastructure investment in rural basic education.